scent. This incense represents the wafting of the aroma of our love for God and Guru to all of God's creation, for the good of all, in order to glorify our great God. Satchitananda. Satchitananda. Satchitananda is the name of God, ever existing, ever conscious, ever new bliss. It's what you are. I was just recognizing that. It's what we all are. Satchitananda, ever existing, ever conscious, ever new bliss. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for coming together, bringing our energy together for another Sabbath Sunday, a day that, well, we want to try to keep our Source more in mind today, be more in tune with Source, working with our Source, everything we're doing it with and for God. So, let us begin, as always, with our Guru chanting. I'll have to switch out distance here so we can hear our Guru's voice. It's always so fabulous to actually hear our Guru's voice and chant along with our Guru, kind of call and response. Guru said, just think of me, I'm there. So we're going to think deeply, really getting in harmony with Guru. And close our eyes, put our attention at the point between our eyebrows, bring our hands into Namaste, bringing our heart chakra, our center of love and compassion, in alignment and in connection with our third eye, our all-knowing, all-seeing third eye, getting connected, speaking to God in the language of our hearts.
Come, sing with me and feel you are singing to his listening presence right within you and around you, everywhere.
Oh God, beautiful. Oh God, beautiful. Oh God, beautiful.
At thy feet, oh, I do bow.
Oh God, beautiful.
In the forest thou art green. In the mountains thou art high.
beautiful. Oh God, beautiful. At thy feet, oh, I do bow. Oh God, beautiful. To the serviceful thou art service. To the lover thou art love. To the sorrowful thou art sympathy. To the yogi thou art bliss. Oh God, beautiful. Oh God, beautiful. At thy feet, oh, I do bow. Oh God, beautiful. In the forest thou art green. In the mountain thou art high. In the river thou art restless. In thy ocean thou art great. Oh God, beautiful. Oh God, beautiful. At thy feet, oh, I do bow. Oh God, beautiful. To the serviceful thou art service. To the lover thou art love. To the sorrowful thou art sympathy. To the yogi thou art bliss. Oh God, beautiful. Oh God, beautiful. At thy feet, oh, I do bow. Oh God, beautiful. In the forest thou art green. In the mountain thou art high. In the river thou art restless. In thy ocean thou art great. Oh God, beautiful. Oh God, beautiful. At thy feet, oh, I do bow. Oh God, beautiful. To the serviceful thou art service. To the lover thou art love. To the sorrowful thou art sympathy. To the yogi thou art bliss. Oh God, beautiful. Oh God, beautiful. At thy feet, oh, I do bow. Oh God, beautiful. Oh God, beautiful. Oh God, beautiful.
Oh my great and wondrous Creator, you are omnipresent. You are in all of your children. Manifest your presence in our bodies for the good of all, in order to glorify you, so let it be. Oh, my great and wondrous Creator, you are omnipresent. You are in all your children. Manifest your presence in our bodies and in our minds for the good of all, in order to glorify you, so let it be. Oh, my great and wondrous Creator, you are omnipresent. You are in all your children. Manifest your presence in our bodies, our minds, and in our souls for the good of all, only to glorify you, God. All the glory to you, so let it be. Thank you. Thank you for always listening to, hearing, and answering all of our prayers. Even when the answer is no, we still thank you. Thank you for not giving us that which wouldn't be good for us. And thank you for answering our greatest prayer, to send Guru to guide us home to you. Thank you, God, for sending Guru. Thank you, Guru, for guiding us. Now, today, all tomorrows, and every instant, in sleep and in wakefulness, in life and in death, in this world and in the beyond, we will to remain yours always. So thank you for remaining with us as the constantly, consciously responding joy of our hearts. And may your love continue to shine forever on the sanctuary of our devotion, that we may be able to awaken your love in all sleeping hearts and minds. For the good of all, only to glorify you, God. All the glory to you, so let it be. Thank you, God. We love you. I always feel so much better after that. I like to do it often. As often as I can. Just sit down, take a moment with God. At least that's the first thing we do. Right? When you say first things first, that's what they mean. When you seek ye first the kingdom of God. That's what we do. Then we want to find out what these energies are around us, so that we can be in harmony with this day, which I see you guys have already done. And that's great, right? But for the benefit of everyone, we'll quickly go through this. Take a quick look. You know, every day on Facebook, no, on Zoom, we're getting together every morning and every evening, right, to do this day thing.
The evening's for the next day, though.
And the evening, yes, is literally for the next day, right? Because
Cool.
our brother Suman, right?
Yeah.
He's in Kathmandu, Nepal, and for him in the morning, he's been doing it with us all this time. Never in the morning, always at night. So I just felt, let's do it in the morning when you're getting up. So that's 8:15 at night. That's 6 a.m. in Kathmandu, Nepal. So at night, we're doing it at 8:15. Kind of like the day that's going to be coming up, though. Right? Which really we shouldn't do, right? It's kind of doing that for the other half of the planet, but you're welcome to, it's just a few hours before it's switching over, right? So
Cool.
it's not too bad, right? If somebody wants to join in with that, they can. But in the morning, right, we're doing it as well. Every day except today. Every day except Sunday. Sunday we kind of work on our own. So we're getting together on a pretty special day, Galactic Activation Portal Day. That happens a lot, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
We seem to always be lining up with these special days, right? And so, yep, Galactic Activation Portal Day. So we know these energies are going to be a little bit more today. It's 2 bars for our galactic tone today, right? And we know that 2 bars, 2 5s, right, are 10. And so 10th tone is that tone of manifestation, right? These tones are telling a story, right, of how things come into being, right? Everything in this universe has to go through a process, an energetic process to actually have manifestation. Back when we were on that 6th tone, it was about balance, right? How is it going to manifest if you have no balance, right? We were talking about, harmonic resonance in the 8th tone, right? How are we ever going to, how's that chair going to actually become if it never resonates in harmony, right? It'll never manifest. It's a step-by-step process. And today's energy is about, that actual achieving that manifestation process, right? We could call it the perfection of manifestation, right? Whatever we were thinking originally, right, can someday manifest in our actual world, right? Those cell phones were in somebody's head one day, just a figment of somebody's imagination, right? And now we have them in our hands. That means they've manifested. They had to go through each one of those steps to get to this manifestation process. And this is that energy that's informing our solar frequency today. That is Lammat, yellow star Lammat. And Lammat is reminding us, that, we are star-seeded beings here in this universe, right? We've been kind of planted here like seeds, and we're kind of like growing, right? Evolving, trying to bloom and blossom, right? And so Lammat is reminding us of that, right? Because we can get caught up in the world and forget, right? When these 2 tones come together, it's about perfect manifestation of that idea, right? Of realizing and remembering that we didn't come from here, right? We're kind of star-seeded here. We're planted here. And we're going to grow and blossom here. We can do that, right? We can sparkle and shine, right? Be like stars. Don't we all want to be stars? Superstars. That's what we want to be, superstars. You are already. Now let's manifest that in our reality, right? That's what this energies are about today, right? So that's what they are, kind of separately. What we do is we actually read it out of the calendar every day, in the morning and in the evening, and that'll give us a very deep understanding of what that energy is, but not for the Sunday service. We're just going to read from our workbook here what these energies are when we put them together, right? Because that's our galactic signature for the day. That's what we want to be match game with today. And so today's galactic signature is Kin 88, yellow planetary star. Lahun Lammat Hunab Ku, right? We always want to tack that on there so that it keeps in our mind. Don't forget, the energies are going to be more today. After mobilization of the solar tone of intention, which was yesterday, today comes the perfection of the planetary tone of manifestation. You ever wonder why they call it the planetary tone of manifestation?
No.
Well, this is the planet. It manifested. This is the planet, right? It's this whole planet. It's manifested. We're walking all on it, making apples off trees and stuff. Right? It's the planet of manifestation. That's what we're here to do. This is part of our, it reminds us of what the heck we're doing here. Right? As souls. Formless and invisible. Right? We're here to play with this thing called manifestation, making it something you can grab onto. Having experiences, right? You can't really experience it till it manifests, right? You can't hit a ball with a bat till you make the ball in the bat. When it's up here in the mind, you're not having the experience. Till you crack that thing one time out into left field. Now you know. But you needed a bat and a ball to do it. To have that experience, to manifest in this world. The planetary manifestation. Yellow planetary star, Lahun Lamat Hunabku, guides and teaches us to harmonize our consciousness with the endless ongoing masterpiece of creation by focusing on the simple beauty found infinitely in existence in order to achieve perfect manifestation. Perfection is something that we can and indeed should strive to produce through actively participating in life and giving it all that we have without becoming overly perfectionist, which is actually counterproductive. Yellow planetary star, Lahun Lamat Hunabku, reminds us that the manifestation process requires both ever-increasing effort and unconditional surrender. Sounds like a paradox to me. To achieve the perfection of manifestation, it is essential that we accept and embrace the inherent perfection of all that is manifest as it is, with unwavering faith and unflinching trust in divine orchestration. Yellow planetary star, Lahun Lamat Hunabku, also encourages us to be art by intentionally and mindfully easing ourselves into the natural flow of limitless elegance. The cauldron of creation is summoning us to shine, sparkle, and glow like the divine beings that we really are. The cauldron of creation is inviting us to collectively acknowledge that we are all in the process of becoming, yet at the same time, we are all already perfect as we are evolving and expanding beings. When we see ourselves and others through unconditional compassion, we awaken this truth. Let us gain insight and understanding from each other as we journey through the dream of this existence as one collective consciousness. Let us evoke each other's highest and truest potential, learning as we endeavor together with gratitude and acceptance for all that exists. Because without judgment, there's only perfection. Right? And that's what we want, right? They say, oh, you can't have perfection. Yes, you can. Don't listen to them. Don't listen to them, right? Because then you'll never have perfection, but you can have it, right? As soon as you accept the fact that the way it is, it's already perfect. Is the pencil broken? Perfect. Now you have two pencils, and you can share, and it's better now, right? See, it's all in our perspective, right? And we can have a life of elegance, joy, undreamed of possibilities, right? We can do that, right? As the star-seated beings that we are. Right? We're not stuck here. We're blessed here. Okay. So, any questions about it? Any comments? Any concerns? You guys are working with it every day, all the time. Wise, very wise. We have this divine soul in our group. It literally is getting so into this that she goes into the calendar, right? She went into the back of the calendar where it's got all these tones and all these frequent. And what she did is there's these 3 key words, right? Well, she highlighted them all in here, like all the key words where they pop up. She highlights them. And in the workbook, like today, we're looking at yellow star Lamet, right? So she goes through, and everywhere any of the yellow star keywords pop up, they're highlighted in yellow, okay? Anywhere the blue energy words come up, right, for the tone, well, she highlights those in blue.
Nice.
Is this getting into the day or what? This is what I'm talking about, why I made this workbook, so you can very quickly, okay, if you can, how deep you want to go with it. She's going like nose dive to the bottom of the pool right now. You know what I mean? She's going over this like in that kind of detail every day. You know what's going to happen, right? In just a few days, she's already remembering, oh, I know Kimi. That's death. I know that one. Now, and she's getting less and less and less afraid of death every 20 days. Very rhythmically like that, right? Because, that's what pain is. Did you know that? Yeah, pain. You wouldn't feel any pain if you had no concept that you could die. And we'd be dying everywhere, right? Because you'd be mangling the body because you didn't feel it, right? When you get a cut, and the signal goes to the brain. And we labeled it pain, right? Because we're afraid we're going to die, right? Now, if we weren't afraid we were going to die and we didn't label that pain, then the tingle would register, but we wouldn't be crying. We would just be saying, there's a register, like the red light on your dash when your gas is getting low, right? You don't have to get mad and punch the dash, right? That's not going to get gas in the tank. You just very calmly drive to the gas station. Check your wallet first. These days, right? And go to the gas station and get the gas, right? So if, we're getting a signal, right, we can be the same way, right? The hammer hit my thumb. Probably supposed to go on the nail, not my thumb. Yes, Bill.
How do you the world is going wrong.
Perfect manifestation.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I've hit my thumb before, and and at one time, then that would really end the day, and I'd be upset. And, you have to do something about it.
Been there, done that. Yeah.
Things happen all the time that sometimes hurt, sometimes don't. Are they notifications? Are they signals that it's almost like now I'm thinking, things happen because they're supposed to happen, and I'm supposed to learn something from it, not be upset about it necessarily, and then just deal with it because there's something that's going to happen, or there's a reason why, that type of thing. Is that Is that
I-
baloney on my part, or
No, that's I think what it is, because isn't it when you're hammering, because we're getting near the end of the day, we'd like to wrap this up, and have that cup of coffee or whatever, you know what I mean? And so we're kind of, and like we're trying to wrap this up and get this plastic tacked up there and whack. Did that teach you to calm down and slow down and pay attention to what you're doing and not worry of thinking about the cup of coffee and think about the thing you're hammering right here, right now?
the focus?
A lesson learned. Wah, wah, wah. Hello. Remember to slow down, calm down, relax. Right? Your body's telling you this.
I
Right?
feel like if we actually talk to the pain, like acknowledge it and say, "Oh, hey,
Hello.
I get your message. Thank you." Like it calms right down.
Yeah. That's exactly what I did. And I would literally say, "You told me once already. Don't tell me again." Try it. The body will obey you if you believe that if you're thinking, well, the body never obeys me. Stop it. It ain't gonna stop. It can't stop. You won't let it. Right? All you have to do is say, enough now. I got the message. Don't tell me again. Okay, I slashed my leg right here with a razor blade, cutting in a big hurry. Whoosh! Ah, wow. Oh yeah, because I was kind of new at the lessons. I'm like, oh yeah, I think it was just like this side. Like, oh yeah. I said, you got some? Can you hand me that duct tape? Whoosh! Back to going. I better slow down, pay attention to what I'm doing. Okay? Don't give it no mind. Don't give it the attention. Don't say, ow, that hurts, and then call people up and start telling them how it hurts, because what did I tell you about your thought vibrations? And if we add more thought vibrations to it, it's going to be stronger. Oh, my friend is hurting. We got 10 people thinking this. Oh, they're going to be hurt. Okay? Can it stop? You better have some powerful willpower to go against those 10 people that you just set against you. Right? That you just set against you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it is, yes. They're lessons. Everything's a lesson for us to be learning. And the body is just help. When we get a cut, that's the lesson to learn. When we get a broken bone, right? Don't break the bones. Because if you do that, how long is the body going to last?
One of the questions that comes into my mind because of my own personal history is when I'm doing things, it's like I know I'm older. Okay, things don't go as smoothly as they used to physically. Okay, they tend to get sore quicker, or I don't have the strength that I once had. And I don't know sometimes whether when things happen, is it a signature to a sign to slow down, or is it say, look, you're getting older, it's going to hurt, just keep going, type of thing. And to me, for me, it's like, okay, yeah, that doesn't feel good, but I'm doing this stuff. I just, I'm going to keep doing it because that's the way it is, and don't, I don't, it's like, kind of like there's warning signs or there's indications, but it's like, hey, this is, I'm sort of expecting like some of these things to happen and not really get, and maybe that's the problem. I'm expecting it to
Well, I don't
happen.
know if it's a problem, but that's why they're happening.
Yeah.
Because you're expecting it. You're like, well, I got to get old and I got to die. Okay.
So that's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Whatever you say, the universe is going to create that for you.
That's really.
So
what I
you
thought.
could start saying, well, we used to believe that, but now we know better. Okay, now I know better. I learned from my guru Paramahansa Yogananda that it don't go that way. Only if I say it goes that way. It goes the way I believe it goes. And the way I keep affirming that it goes, because that's what's going to get into my subconscious and make me believe that. Right? So if you keep affirming, well, it's just a natural process. We all have to get old and die, right? Well, wrong. We all have to get old and die that say that and believe that. That's true. But we all don't have to say that and believe that and then get old and die. Okay, come check me out in 50 years. Just wait this. Okay, the past 20 years or so, it hasn't changed. It's not going to. Because I've decided I'm going to keep it just like this. Right? Well, they say you can only grow 2 sets of teeth. Right? That's what they say, right? You can only grow 2 sets of teeth. You got your baby teeth come in, you lose those. Your adult teeth come in, don't lose those. If you lose those, oh, it's done, you're over. Then explain why I have that 3rd set coming in. Where's that growing in there, where that other tooth? I just let it go. Okay? How is it that, you know, inside this mouth, you would see a lot of dental work needing to be done, right? And you might think that's very painful. No, not at all. Turned it off. Not there. And what do you mean, right? Stopped believing that a 3rd set of teeth can't grow. And so a 3rd set of teeth will start growing, and it is. Right? It's a little weird. I'm kind of surprised, right? But I'm determined too, and I know it's real. I know it's true. I believe it. So it's happening, right? So it's only if we say we're going to get old and die are we supposed to get old and die. But if we don't believe that, right? Well, no, then we might be being impinged upon everybody's thoughts. Yeah, can you know, it's like you're going into a fight. 4 million against 1. Who's going to win? You better be tough. Right? Now, if it was Yogananda, I'd have pity for those people. Okay? All right? But I'm not Yogananda. Okay? Yet, I'm working at it still. Right? So, I'm going to have to build it. Right? And stop. And the more I build that, the more thought vibrations in contrast to my thoughts are, they're going down. And wow, we've been talking for a while. But does that answer your question?
Yeah,
Bill?
it does. I guess it's a slow transition for me to
Not just
understand
you.
that.
Everybody, not just you. It's a slow transition of slowly beginning to change that programming, right? It's in here, right? I love what Sadhguru calls it. You know what he calls it? Inner engineering. I kind of changed it. I got a twist on it. I'd like to call it inner re-engineering, because it's already been engineered and I don't like it. Right? It makes me go ow a lot and cry a lot. Okay? And so I'm going to re-engineer it inside here and re-engineer it so that I got a total different concept of this planet. Okay? I got a total different concept of everything that's going on in my existence, because I see that it's all happening from here. Right? And that it's all revolving around me. Right around this spine, right here, all of you. See? Everything, even the sun. It's going around this spine. Right? For you, it's going around that spine. Right? But for me, it's going around this spine. So, we have full control. We can decide what we're going to do. But we got to get in harmony with that. And that's what this Dream Spell Astrology Wisdom helps with. And so now after that, well, how's our time? Are we in trouble? When do we have to leave here today?
Like 11.
Oh, we're at 11. Okay, we're good. I think we can make it. Okay. Let's turn our attention then to our Guru's teachings, right? Our message from our Guru this week. And Guru, as always, he's going to enlighten us, right, on something real important, right? Guru's going to talk to us about something we probably always all wanted to know, right? Karma, right? We've all heard of the law of karma, right? We often hear out in the world them talking about karma, right? You know, karma's the right? Right? Not karma, right? Well, Guru's explaining to us that karma is just the law of cosmic justice. Right? You say it's not a fair world? Oh, yes, it is. Yeah. And maybe there's some things we can learn about karma to help us live a more happier, harmonious life, right? Since we got to live with this law of karma, right? Guru explains to us that karma is the law of action, right? Cause and effect. The law of cosmic justice that is based upon our, well, cause and effect. Our every act, good or bad, has a specific effect on our life, right? The effect of actions in this life actually remain lodged in our subconsciousness, in our superconsciousness, deep within our soul, right? And they're brought over from past experiences, past lives. And they're kind of hidden down in that superconsciousness, right? Going with you life after life, ready at any time, like seeds, right, to germinate under the influence of a suitable environment. Right? Karma decrees that as one sows, so must one reap. Right? That's the law of karma. Our Creator created that. Right? And we're learning, right, that you get what you give. Right? Karma. The law of karma. You know, we've heard about it, but it's a big topic, right? You see, all events in our lives is governed by that law of cause and effect. Everything. The human brain may be compared to an invisible balancing beam scale, you know, with two containers hanging on each side, right? We've seen those scales, right? They're tipping scales like this, you know. And on this metaphysical scale is weighed all of our good and evil actions, right? Right? Everything that we do, everything that we think, all the good things that we do, and all of the bad things, so-called bad things that we do, right? It's on a scale. Each of us have this scale within us, right? It's the way it is, right? And when evil karma, right, is tipping the psychological balance, evil is predominating in that individual then, right? And when good actions, right, are predominant, right, getting heavier, right, good results pour into that person's life, right, through their own superconscious, through their own subconscious. Right? The subconscious mind is a reservoir into which continuously flows Well, the effects of, well, distant and recent past actions, right? Those records, right, are actually stored and lodged, right, in what I'd like to call the file cabinet of our brain, right? They're all in there. Every action you've ever done, every sound you've ever heard, every sight you've ever seen, it's all in this big giant file cabinet up here. And this law, right, of action, cause and effect, right? Karma, right? We shouldn't see it as fatalism, right? We don't have to just give up and say, well, there's nothing we can do about karma, right? Guru's showing us a way out of this. You see, the kind, omnipresent Creator never punishes us, right? Nor does God reward us, because God has already given us the power to punish or reward ourselves, right? By the use or misuse of our own reason and willpower. It is we ourselves, right, who transgress laws of health, prosperity, and wisdom, and thereby suffer, right, and punish ourselves accordingly with ill health, poverty, or ignorance, right? If you're smoking cigarettes and the lungs go, that's why, right? And in past years, brothers and sisters, I think you've suffered enough, okay? Now it is time to parole yourself, right, from the prison of your own undesirable habits. It's a prison-like, isn't it? And since we're the judge, right, you put yourself there, we put ourselves there. No jail of suffering, poverty, or ignorance can hold us if we want to liberate ourselves, right? Really, all we have to do is just affirm these words: I am free. Thank God and Guru, I am free. I am free, I am free. Thank God and Guru, I am free. Right? In order, right, to make that jailer of our wrong convictions obey our command and just set us free. You gotta demand it. You gotta be serious about it. And keep affirming it and affirming it. And under this thing called Maya, right, under this cosmic delusion that we're playing with here, people's reason and willpower is kind of buried beneath like a metaphysical pile of soil of ignorance, right? And until the ore of wisdom is mined out, right, and then, well, welded and shaped into sharp psychological instruments, right, well, then the thickets of evil that are growing in the garden of our human consciousness cannot be cut down, right? How are you going to cut them down with dull choppers, right? You're not chopping nothing, right? And to be tempted is natural, right? But to overcome temptation, that is greatness, right? And isn't that real freedom? Because then we are guided by free will and free choice alone, right? Nothing's compelling us to do it, right? So don't discourage yourself, brothers and sisters, by entertaining this thought that you are a sinner and that God will never come to you, right? I used to do that, okay? And by doing that, all we do is paralyze our willpower, right? Sin, or in other words, the sorrow and suffering, right, that is a result of our own wrong actions of the past, right? That is only a temporary delusion. Temporary, right? And you know what I always say, what all our gurus say, what is done is done. It's finished. It's over. Why hang on to it? We can't turn back the pages of time, right? You see, the past is gone. It doesn't belong to us anymore, right? And we would be wise to learn, right? Well, not to commit the same error again, right? That's all we need to want to think about, that past, right? We just don't want to do that error again. We don't dwell on it, right? Did you know, brothers and sisters, that you could just deny karma? You just deny its existence. So it doesn't exist. You know, too many people misunderstand the meaning of karma anyway. It's such a big topic, I really haven't found hardly anybody that knows what it's all about. Most people just get a fatalistic attitude about the whole thing. They just say, oh, well, it's the law of karma, it's going to do everything. I might as well just lay down and die. That's no way to live, brothers and sisters, right? You can't lay down and die to live. See, we don't have to accept this karma thing, right? We're accepting it like we're accepting death, right? If I were to tell you someone's standing behind you right now and they're ready to whack you in the head because you hit them a while back and they're going to get you now, and you say, well, that's my karma. And you just sit there and you just wait to get whacked in the head. Well, guess what? You're going to get whacked in the head. Right? You know, wouldn't we be wiser, right? Well, attempt to mollify this one, right, that wants to whack us, right? Maybe by pacifying them a little bit, you know. Maybe we might lessen their bitterness. Maybe they might decide to not smack us in the head. Right? We don't have to take it. Right? When we realize ourselves as a child of God, well, what karma could you possibly really have? God doesn't have karma. Right? What, do you think God's stuck with karma? No. And so really now, then we don't have karma either, really. Not really, right? I mean, when we know in every fiber of our being that we are a child of God, when we know that, why, we can just forget karma, right? And affirm to ourselves every day, all the time, right? With the deepest conviction, saying to ourselves all the time, I'm not a mortal being. I am not this body. I am not this brain. I'm not this flesh, blood, and bones. I'm a child of God. Formless and invisible consciousness am I. Right? That's a powerful thing to do all the time. That's practicing the presence of God. Are we taking notes? That is practicing the presence of God because, well, we're made in God's image, aren't we? If God's free of karma, then that means we must be potentially free of karma too. I mean, if we're not free from it now, we can be. Because why? We're made in the image of God. It's common sense. We're God's. We can live with karma yoked upon us, or we can live with karma. What is that? I don't know. It's gone. Right? Because we know we're made in the image of God. And the best way to banish the consciousness of our weaknesses is to not think about them. Don't dwell on them. Otherwise, we will be, well, overwhelmed by them. We can't keep sitting around thinking about how weak we are and how strong everybody else is, right? That will only make that reality funnel into our play of existence, right? It'll become very prolific in our life if that's what we keep thinking. So let's think about just bringing the light in, and the darkness will be gone as if it never was, right? And in that thought, brothers and sisters, is one of the greatest inspirations of my life. Right? I love to share that with people. If light is brought into a cave of darkness, of 1,000 years of darkness, why, that darkness is gone in an instant as soon as you turn on that light. Right? And so will our faults and weaknesses vanish the same way when we bring in that light of our source, our Creator, God. Right? The darkness of ignorance, it can never enter where that light is. Right? Think about it. Right? If you have a room of darkness or a cave of darkness, right, for 1,000 years it was dark, right? And you bring in your Bic, right? And you go flick, and as soon as that light comes on, where did the darkness go? Gone, right? On the other hand, right, if you have a nice bright room full of light and you start bringing in hundreds of boxes and they're all full of darkness and you open the box up, did the light go anywhere? No. The light always overpowers the darkness. As soon as you open that box, that darkness, gone, poof, gone, fast. You couldn't even, where'd it go? You couldn't even see it go. It went so fast. Right? That's the philosophy of life by which we should be living, brothers and sisters. And I'm not talking about starting that tomorrow. I'm talking about today. I'm talking about right now, right here, right now. And if a person is determined enough right now and does all these teachings and is serious about this, Guru says you get rid of all of the karma of your past lives in this one life. Have I got your attention now? Do you want to get out of here in this life? Or do you want to have 100 more lives of trying to do it? I don't even want to. I want it now. And for the ones who want it now, they're here. Right? You know, people are suffering these lengthy effects of their past ignorant actions, well, because, well, they're just not using the antidote, right? That will actually eradicate those evil tendencies, right? That they've carried from past lives, past actions, right? All these actions in your past lives, and even this life too, right? They're all here, right? You see, brothers and sisters, we are made in the image of God, our great and wondrous Creator, right? That means we are eternally the same as God is. Actually, essentially, really. Right? Why doesn't it seem like it? It's because of ignorance of that. And ignorance is not our true nature. Right? Right? Ignorance is not knowing that we are the same as God. That's not our true nature. And how did that come? Right? It came from misuse of our own free choice, right? And it can instantly, or within a few years, depending on what you say, it can be removed by following these teachings, these sacred teachings that we share every day, free to everyone in the whole world, right? I want everyone to be able to be free, right? Freely share these with everyone, so that everyone, everywhere, can be free from that sorrow and suffering, right? Either instantly or within a few years. And that's how we're doing it, right? It's taken me a few. I'm working at it, you know. I'm following these sacred teachings, and I'm getting out of it. And I see you guys doing it too. It inspires me a lot, right? Keep on keeping on with it, and we will be free from the sorrow and suffering that we've been experiencing, right? I know, you're like, I don't know, it sounds suspicious. I'm proud of you. Well, you know, the earlier settlers,
Got tattooed. I need to remind myself so much. I'm free.
you know, the earlier settlers here in America, you know, if you'd have told them in 100 years, we're going to go from the East Coast to the West Coast in an hour, they would have laughed at you. You said, yeah, we're just going to fly over. Oh, they'd have been thinking you're insane and crazy. Okay, they said, no, you got to get in a horse and wagon to do that. Right? They would have think you were out of your mind. They couldn't have possibly believed you 100 years ago or so. Right? So, you know, it's kind of like that. You might not believe what I'm telling you. Okay? And saying, oh, God Almighty, no, come on, this law of karma, we already know. You're hanging around. No. Just like horse and carriage or horse across the country, no. Now we take airplanes. It's going, you can change. Right? And that's exactly why we lovingly and freely share lasting, effective techniques to quicken our evolution. Right? That's what this Kriya Yoga is all about. Right? The fire of deep and constant meditation cauterizes the brain grooves, right, that are retaining the records that we were talking about before of those bad karmic tendencies of past lives, right? They burn them up, right? And that's how we overcome that hidden evil that's lying latent in our consciousness. Remember also that when we talk about evil, right, we're only talking about the results of our actions that were out of harmony, right, that cause us to have sorrow and suffering. That's what we call evil, right? Sorrow, suffering, right? The actions that lead to sorrow and suffering. And then the resulting sorrow and suffering. Isn't that evil? That's evil. Right? And since all effects, all of our seed past actions, right, that are in our consciousness, right, our karma, right, well, it can be destroyed by roasting those seeds in the fire of meditation. It's not a physical fire, right? It's a metaphysical bonfire of meditation, right? We could also see it as our mind press of concentration, right? We're squeezing that karma, right? We can electrocute that karma in the divine electricity light of super consciousness, divine consciousness, cosmic consciousness. That's God consciousness. So you see, there is no such thing as fate. We make our own destiny here, right? And our Creator, our Source, God, right, has given each one of us independence, freedom, right? Each one of us are free at all times to shut God out, shut God's power out, or to draw God's power in, allow it in. Totally up to us. Did you know, brothers and sisters, that you have more strength to overcome difficulties than you have difficulties to overcome? Did you know that? Within you is ultimate strength. You have more strength to overcome all of these difficulties than what you think you have. Okay? We can remedy our mistakes because God, our Creator, has given us reason and willpower. Ultimate tools. But first, we've got to make up our mind, right? And then we've got to practice holding our willpower steadily onto that purpose, right? Until that purpose manifests. Glad we're talking about this today, right? We got to discipline ourselves, right, to develop our sleeping powers within us, right? So brothers and sisters, claim your divinity. Unite your consciousness with God and receive blessings directly from God, from God's almighty, all-powerful, all-knowing, divinely loving hands, right? Isn't that what you really want? Right? Why ask things from these earthly mortal beggars when we can go directly to the source and receive directly from our great and wondrous Creator? Right? It makes sense, right? If we go to the lower sources, then you're going to receive from the lower sources. When you go to the Supreme Source, as is our birthright, well, then you're going to get that. Make sense? Right? And isn't that some powerful words from our Guru, right? Talking about becoming empowered empaths, yes? Taking back our power now. Becoming fully empowered empaths, right? Doing what we came here to do, to where even karma won't get in our way, right? Because we're on a sacred mission, and this karma thing is better step aside, because I'm coming through, okay? And it may get shattered if it doesn't get out of my way. You got to think like that, right? And Guru has a story to share with us this week it's a wonderful story about this karma thing, right? And how it kind of sneaks up on us, you know. This is the story of Pat and Matt. You guys might remember this, right? Do you remember Pat and Matt? They hated each other, right? And they quarreled when they were boys in school. They got in lots of fights, you know. And when they grew up, they became bitter rivals in the operation of competitive shoe stores in the same town. One day they even got in a big fight over the hand of the same fair maiden. And Pat, being a little bit stronger, why, he gave Matt a sound beating. Knocked him out. And Pat walked away with the girl, leaving his enemy on the sidewalk, knocked out. And, well, when he came to, well, Matt, he was just filled with sorrow and disgust and shame. And he was determined to get even with Pat someday. But he said, you know, I'm shifting my interest, getting out of here. I'm moving my shoe store to Miami. Far away. Good decision, right? Fresh start, you know, far away. But well, although Pat soon forgot all about the insult, hurt, and inconvenience that he had caused Matt, well, Matt, on the other hand, you know, being the maltreated party in this equation, well, he couldn't get out of his mind this grievance against Pat, right? Every night before going to bed, Matt would affirm, he'd try, right? He'd say, day by day, in every way, I am forgiving my brother Pat more and more. That guy, I forgive him. But after several months, he realized that really his daily affirmation of so-called forgiveness was actually, he was actually hatching an egg, so to speak, right? Of vengefulness, right? He wanted revenge, right? In the background of his mind, really what he had been praying for was, well, an opportunity, right? To even the score, right? Straighten out that grudge, you know, against Pat. Well, at last, right, unwittingly drawn to Miami right, by this strange attraction of mutual hatred, right, Pat decided to take a vacation, right? Go to Miami for vacation, right? He never dreamed that there would be any troubles, right? And so one evening it was a little drizzly, and so he thought, it's a nice night to go for a walk, right? It's peaceful, right? Isn't it nice sometimes to walk in the rain a little? It's not too bad, right? And so while walking along a lonely road, peaceful, right? Well, he passed under this like tiled roof thing, right? It's kind of like an open shed kind of thing that was adjoining a couple buildings, right? Just this overhang thing, right? Get out of the rain a little bit, right? But he didn't notice, right, that Matt had happened to see him while he was out on his walk. And Matt was kind of sneaking along behind him while he was walking, quietly dogging him. Right? So Pat didn't know. Right? And Matt said, now's my chance to repay Pat with interest, okay, for the beating that he gave me. Right back in Philadelphia, right? Never forgot, right? Pat forgot all about it, right? And the rain, right, started picking up pretty heavily, right? And, well, Pat thought, I think I'm going to, have to dodge under something, protect myself, And so since the rain picked up, Matt thought, I can get a little closer now. Getting up close on him now, right? And they're going, and he noticed, up ahead there was some tiles on the floor that had fallen from the roof warehouse, And just after Pat, stepped over that, Matt picked it up. You know it. Smacked Pat right in the head, knocked him completely out. Right? And Pat laid on the cold ground beneath this shed a lot longer than Matt did when he was in Pennsylvania on the sidewalk. Right? So it was, with interest, he said, remember? And 2 hours had passed, right? And the sky ceased weeping. And, it was smiling with moonbeams by the time Pat woke up, right, from his unconsciousness. And he was, kind of puzzled. He's like, what the heck? Blood? What happened? Right? What's going on? He's looking around and he could see the moonlight poking through the hole in the roof where the tile was missing. And he could see the tile on the ground, right? He's like, just kind of looking at him sitting there, right? He's like, whoa, well, my bad luck, he said, right? I running out of the rain, I ran under here just in time to get knocked in the head by a tile that got fallen down from the rain and the wind. Must have just fell on my head, right? Had no idea, right, that his old so-called friend, or enemy, I should say, had snuck up on him, right? Now, we see Pat's reasoning here is a good illustration of how we tend to forget our earlier misdeeds, right, as a cause of present misfortunes. And what about the ones in our previous lives, right? We can't remember, right? But those actions never forget us, okay? The consequences of our good or bad actions silently pursue us through life after life. Just as the cow finds its calf amidst thousands of other calves, our actions are just like that, right? They pursue us doggedly, right? And they find us wherever we happen to be, right? Now, if Pat had weighed the consequences of his actions, right, after he beat him up and decided to make up with him, right, then no injurious results would have been gestating, right, in Matt's mind all that time, right, where he was thinking all that time about getting him. He wouldn't have been thinking that. So the moral of the story is we would be wise to increase the power of our wisdom, right, and go ever deeper in meditation in order to burn up those ungerminated seeds of evil tendencies latent within our mind, in our consciousness, our subconscious, superconsciousness. Right? Judge well before you act. Because after you have acted, it's like an arrow, right? Then you're going to reap some results, right? The specific results of those actions. And every action leaves tendencies that are stored up, right, in our consciousness, right, in our subconscious mind, in our superconscious mind, right? And unless we counteract the potential of stored up evil tendencies by becoming better and better every day, well, there's no telling what we may become in the future, right? We don't know what those seeds are in us, right? What if those seeds, right, they come about, right? When the circumstances are just right, those tendencies are going to come out, right? And one can be sure of themselves only if they meditate more and more deeply, and in the fire of self-realization and calmness, consume all the seed tendencies that lie ungerminated in here, in our subconsciousness, in our superconsciousness, right? Seeds of evil tendencies, thus roasted or electrocuted, burned up, right, in the fire of wisdom, well, they can't germinate. They can't grow, right? We fried them. So brothers and sisters, don't sit idly, no matter how great you think you are or how great you think you're doing, right? Keep on burning up the latent seeds of forgotten incarnations by kindling greater fires in deep meditation and in loving service to our brothers and sisters everywhere, as best as we can, of course, right? Do what you can. Right? That's good advice from our guru, right? Good story too, right? To kind of give us an analogy, an idea of how this law of karma actually works, right? I mean, there's a lot of different facets to it. We could go on for 10 hours talking about karma, but we like to look at one facet at a time so we can understand it fully, right? Right? We get what we give. And if we didn't know that, well, we know it now, and so we might want to watch our actions. Right? Remember when I told my son that, and he finally got it. And then he started saying, wow, I'm going to have to watch my actions. So let's share some wonderful words from Whispers from Eternity. A short but powerful reminder, right, that we're one with our source, right? And it's easy to forget it in this world, right? And if there ever was a sin, they say the original sin was just forgetting that we are one with our source, right? Because that's when the suffering begins. The sin, right? When we need to remember that I am a child of God. I'm made in my Creator's image. When I forget it, that's when I start suffering. Consciousness starts coming down. So this one is entitled, well, Guru said, tell me, wilt thou be mine? And if you don't know the these and the thous, well, that just means tell me, Lord, will you be mine? Right? You want God, right? So let's say to God, I care not if I have to endure all pain and relinquish every earthly desire, if, in the end, I find you, Lord. I mind not if I must pass through sextillions of lives, undergoing the throes of birth and the pangs of death, leaving behind me a heap of mangled, fleshy forms, if at last, Lord, I find thee. Lord, tell me, you will surely be mine. Then, realizing the immensity of your gift, of the gift of yourself, and the littleness of any gift or sacrifice that I could make in return, I shall patiently pass through 100,000 years as though they were but a day. Tell me, Lord, will you be mine? You know, you can question your source like that. Don't be afraid to, right? Beautiful words from Whispers from Eternity, where Guru's talking to us, teaching us how to talk to God, right? So it looks like we're getting near the end of our time here. Well, 10:30. Yeah. And we want to have a little time, right, to maybe talk a little bit. I don't know if we're going to have time for energy healing and everything, because I got to do the birthday thing today. So, but we'll have a little bit of time to talk, I think, before we have to go blazing on out of here, doing stuff. So, well, I don't know if somebody's coming to join us. Oh, okay. They're just dropping something. Well, so let us get back into our comfortable meditative posture to try to wrap up the official gathering, I guess, so that we can continue on with our Sabbath Sunday. We want to close our eyes. We're all going to bring our energy together. Bring our attention at the point between our eyebrows. Bring our hands into Namaste. In front of our heart chakra, connecting our heart center and our third eye center, our center of compassion and our center of all knowingness. Speaking to God from our soul. Asking God to guide us through this world. And together singing and chanting to God. Assuring God that we want to belong to God always, forever. Grandmother, grandfather, oh, great and wondrous Creator, we're sending our voice to you this beautiful day, giving you thanks for our lives. We are the new people you have dreamed of so long ago. We've come stumbling here, seeking to find our way into the new. As we continue our exploration, we look to the past and honor our mothers and fathers, our grandfathers and grandmothers who went before us and who made all these things and who made our lives. We've come before you today, neither women nor men, but souls, spirits, bearing the traditional offerings as you have so seen fit, to honor the past and to pray for our ancestors and to ask for your help. Help us to find our way into this new world. and to be in good relationships with all the brothers and sisters, all the people of all the colors and traditions. So might it be for the good of all, only to glorify you, God. All the glory to you, so might it be. Thank you, God. We love you. Oh, Lord, I will to be thine always. Oh, God, I will to be thine always. I may go far, farther than the stars. I may go far, farther than the stars. But I will to be thine always. My Lord, I will to be thine always. Devotees may come, devotees may go. Devotees may come, devotees may go. But I will to be thine always. My Lord, I will to be thine always. When I die, look into my eyes. When I die, look into my eyes. They will mutely say, I will to be thine always. My Lord, I will to be thine always. I may go far, farther than the stars. Devotees may come, devotees may go. But I will to be thine always. My Lord, I will to be thine always. When I die, look into my eyes. When I die, look into my eyes. They will mutely say,